welcome to the Misti Blue Podcast. I'm Misti Green. In this episode, we're talking about tables, relationships, and about the circles that shape our lives. Think back to your teenage years. Remember that friend group you wanted so badly to join, the one that at that time seemed to hold everything you wanted and longed for, most likely the popular group. Now, with years of distance, you can see how sitting at that table might have pulled you away from the very thing that became your strength. Or picture that divine professional encounter you almost avoided because you yourself felt unqualified. Your confidence, it wavered. But you said yes anyway, and later you realized it was the doorway that God had planned for you all along. There will be times you are set apart, when you can't quite tell where you fit. In those moments, don't you dare let uncertainty or loneliness push you toward seats you've outgrown or toward company not aligned to your future. See, your table is shaping your tomorrow. Who you sit with determines what you see, what you say, what you hear, and who you become. Not every table that looks inviting will nourish you. See, some tables serve high-end meals. Silver platters, crystal glasses, conversations that sparkle. Yet when you leave, you're emptier than when you came. Sometimes you walk away too full of noise to even function. Some plates are beautiful and perfectly designed, but the meal they hold took absolutely no effort. It looks divine, but it doesn't nourish you. It doesn't feed you, and it doesn't fulfill you. Not all plates serve a meal that sustains your soul. And you must know where and with whom you choose to dine. Be confident in your discernment. When the conversation feels off, when the motives feel uncomfortable, kindly excuse yourself. You owe no dramatic exit and no explanation. The truth is, I haven't always left quietly. There were seasons when I left certain tables with an abrupt exit. But as I've grown, as I'm growing, I'm learning the power of a quiet dismissal. Sliding back the chair, stepping away with no scene and with no reason or explanation. This is your season to stand in your purpose. Your future, it depends on it. See, you can't just go everywhere. You can't sit with just everyone. You can't afford to feed on every conversation that comes your way. Scripture gives us portraits of what happens when people choose their tables carefully or carelessly. What if David had lingered at the table of his enemies? What if he had listened to the taunts of Goliath or the jealousy of Saul, instead of finding refuge in the presence of God? How might Samson's life have been different if he hadn't lingered at Delilah's table? He liked her company, but the price he paid for a seat at her table was his strength and his sight. Imagine if Job's friends, instead of testing his faith with their accusations, had cursed God or abandoned Job when they saw his sickness. And consider Joseph. What if Pharaoh hadn't recognized Joseph's gift and prepared a place for him at the table of leadership? And what about Esther, with Mordecai urging her to rise and risk everything to save her people? What if she had rejected his urges? Each story turns on a table, on the voices they allowed to feed them. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. The right table, it's going to sharpen you. The wrong table, it's going to dull you. Think about the tables in your own life. The conference room, table at work, the dinner table of family or friends, the group text that pings your phone at all hours, day and night. Even the quiet table of your own thoughts and habits. And you know what else? The table of your direct messages. Your hidden inbox. Some of those tables are feeding your life, and some are feeding your distractions. Some look beautiful, like a 5-star meal. But when you get up and you realize you're still hungry, why did you sit down? Discernment isn't rudeness, it's stewardship. Jesus loved the crowds, but often what did he do? He withdrew in isolation to pray. He protected the core of his mission. 3 ways that you can guard your seat. Audit your table. Take an inventory. Write down the names of the people who have your ear and your time. Of those people, who speaks into your life in a positive way? Who drains you? This isn't about judgment, it's about clarity. You have to protect your assignment. Your calling is too precious to feed it junk, to feed it distraction. Boundaries are not selfish, they are stewardship. They're disciplined, anchored to your purpose. And move your chair if you must. Sometimes the next level is going to require a new circle, not because the old one is evil or bad, but because the season has changed. Some of you feel frustrated, not because you lack purpose, but because you're sitting at the wrong table, the wrong conversation, the wrong energy, the wrong company. It isn't that you're lost. It's that you're being fed the wrong meal. You are allowed to quietly push that chair back. You are allowed to say, this isn't for me. Even if it once was, this isn't for me any longer. You are allowed to guard your heart without an apology. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. Find the table where your spirit is sharpened, where people blow wind on your flame, where the meal nourishes your soul and the conversation calls you higher. And if you need to, move your chair. Your purpose depends on it, and your future depends on it.